If you want to have better rotation for a more cleaner golf swing, then this is where we're going to start. All right, so the first exercise we're going to do is a DNS exercise that's going to teach us how to properly stabilize our core while we rotate our shoulder and pelvic girdles simultaneously. So to begin, we first got to be able to engage our core in the proper way. So what we want to do is, without breathing in, we want to feel like we're expanding outward around our entire waistline here. I always say it's kind of like you're preparing to take a punch in the gut, but we're doing it in a way that we can still breathe and still talk independent of that outward expansion. So once you get that, what we're going to do is we're going to get yourselves an exercise ball. We're going to lay on our back like this. We're going to get our core engaged like I was just explaining, and then we're going to bring our arms and legs up like this. Legs are going to be a triple flexion, 90 degrees at the hip, knees, and ankle. Arms are going to be straight up in the air. We'll have the ball placed in between so that as I'm pushing down into the ball with my arms, I'm also simultaneously pushing up with my legs. And that's going to engage your core a little bit more. From there, we're going to do little mini rolls where we're just going from hip and shoulder to opposite hip and shoulder. Okay? And we want to be sure that we're not going too far so that we, don't roll completely over. We want to be able to control this motion. And this is a great way to start to really feel how our body should rotate while we also are stabilizing our core. And again, I've been engaging my core this whole time while I've been talking and breathing and explaining this exercise. So what we want to do here is just practice this for about 2 to 3 minutes, and again, emphasizing that expansion through the waistline. And don't be afraid to challenge yourself. If you do go too far, you just roll, and then we can just reset, get everything back in place, and start again. And be sure to allow your head to just relax on the table or the floor or whatever surface that you may be performing this exercise on. Okay? So that's the DNS 3-month rolling pattern. All right, so for our exercise, our second exercise is going to be called the open book, and this will be performed first in the sideline position and then secondly in the half kneeling position. And this is where we're going to start to continue to engage our core like we did in the previous exercise, but also start to learn to separate our shoulders from our hips as we still continue to rotate around the spine. So to perform this in the sideline position, we're going to have ourselves a little support for our head. Here I'm using a half of a foam roll, but you can use a pillow. I have this block where I'm going to place between my knees. I'm going to lie in this kind of modified fetal position, hips and knees at 90 degrees. Head resting on the pillow, arms are going to be out like this. So to start here, we're going to squeeze our knees together, keeping our knees down against the surface, and then we're going to take our hand and we're going to just the top hand push slowly out, and then we're going to rotate all the way around. Eyes are following the hand to the other side like we're opening the book. Again, keeping our knees down on the opposite side, and then we will simply close the book, and then we'll do that again. And this is going to help us really feel that rotation around the spine between our shoulder blades, which is where we want to be able to get this from. And we'll perform 10 of these on each side. And as you get better and more comfortable with this, we can progress to the half kneeling position. All right, so for the half kneeling open book, we're going to have to get a little creative here. So what I'm using for me is a yoga pillow and a yoga block, because this is about the width of my hips. Okay, so in this case I have my left side against the wall. I'm pushing my knee with my foot directly beneath the knee up against the block here so I can keep my hips closed. And in this case, since I'm a right-handed golfer, I'll be practicing my backswing. So it's the same idea. We're going to have our left side up against the wall, right hand's going to reach out, and then we're going to open all the way up to the other side, and eyes are following that hand all the way around. And again, I'm keeping pressure up against this block so that I don't open up my hips. learning how to separate my shoulders from my hips in rotation or as I rotate around my spinal column. So again, here, eyes are following all the way around, good, and then we close again, and then we close. Be sure that we don't lean forward here. We want to keep our torso or upper body upright. Like that. And then we would perform 10 on each side. And once we get to this position, we are now starting to more closely simulate the actual golf swing. So these exercises are a great starting point for first getting reacquainted with your body stabilizing system with that DNS 3-month rolling pattern. Secondly, learning how to separate your upper and lower body with the side lying open book. And then lastly, incorporating that all into clean, repeatable rotation around your spine with the half kneeling open book. And again, that's where you're really going to start to more closely simulate that golf swing. So, if you want to be able to move better, play better, stay on the course longer, these are ways that we can start to help. But it all starts with a thorough evaluation so that we can identify the key links in your issue with your issues, and then that way we can have more success in the treatment room. Better movement is better golf.